Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have a brand new cake recipe for you guys, and this one is so unique and so delicious. I'll be making what's called a Pancho Torte, and this incredible dome-shaped cake is made with fluffy and creamy whipped cream frosting, cubes of chocolate sponge cake, all layered with pineapple, cherries, and pecans. You guys are gonna be over the moon with this delicious and easy cake recipe. My dear friend Anastasia shared this recipe with me, and she says that in Eastern Europe and in Russia, this cake is super popular. You could buy it pretty much at any cafe or restaurant or even at the grocery store. So let's get started and I'll show you just how easy it is to make this unique and delicious cake. And for today's cake recipe, I'm going to be using my chocolate sponge cake recipe. You can also use my best chocolate cake recipe. I'll have both of those linked down in the video description box below. I prepared my chocolate sponge cake batter and then I baked it in a large jelly roll pan and I let this cake cool completely. We'll come back to cube it up and then we're gonna use it to assemble the cake. So I'm gonna set this aside for now and I'm going to get started on my creamy whipped cream and sour cream frosting. So into my mixer bowl, I'm going to pour in 3 cups of chilled heavy cream. I'm also going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and I have 3 cups of confectioner's sugar. You can add a little bit less. You can add 2 cups of confectioner's sugar if you don't want your frosting to be too sweet. And I'm going to mix this all together on low speed at first for about 30 seconds, and then turn up the speed to high and let it whisk for about 3 to 4 minutes until you get stiff and fluffy peaks. And I have my whipped cream all ready. Check out how light and fluffy this is. It's going to be so perfect for putting together this cake. To my whipped cream, I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of regular sour cream. Drop that in. And I'm going to use my spatula to very gently fold the sour cream into the whipped cream. I have my cream ready. Now I'm going to switch gears back to my cake. I'm going to grab a sharp knife and cube the cake into small, about 1-inch pieces. I have my whipped cream frosting all done, ready to go. My chocolate cake is all set and ready to go. And now let's talk about the other ingredients. So we're going to be using about 1.5 cups of pineapple. You can use fresh or canned pineapple. I've just cubed it into little bite-sized pieces. I did the same with my cherries. So I have 1 cup of fresh cherries. You can also use canned cherries. You can even use plums for this recipe. I pitted them and I also chopped them into small little pieces. Next, I have 1 cup of chopped pecans. We're going to sprinkle these in on the inside as well. And then for my last ingredient, and this one is optional, I have a little bit of cherry liqueur. I'm going to use this to soak the cake with. It's going to add even more flavor. And now let's talk about assembling the cake. So for this dome-shaped cake, I'm going to assemble it into a bowl. So I've lined a large glass bowl with some plastic wrap, and this is just going to help release the cake from the bowl. So when you invert it, all you have to do is just take off that plastic wrap and the cake is ready to go. And now let's assemble this incredible cake. And the first step to making this cake is spreading a little bit of that whipped cream frosting on the inside of the bowl. So I'm going to spread a nice thick layer of it all the way up the sides and in the bottom of the bowl. And once you have a nice even layer of that frosting on the inside of the bowl, you could start adding your chocolate cake pieces. So I'm going to drop them first into the bottom of the bowl. And you want to very gently just press them into the whipped cream so that they stay in place. And I'm going to grab my cherry liqueur and just very gently drizzle it over the cake layers. You don't want to soak it too much, but just enough to give it a little bit more of that cherry flavor. And now I'm ready to add in some of my fillings. So I'm just going to take a spoon and drop some of those cherry pieces into the bottom of the cake. Do the same with the pineapple. Drop some pineapple in there. And sprinkle in some pecans. And I'm going to seal this layer with a generous amount of that frosting. take a spoon and really press that frosting into the fruit and the fillings just so that it's well coated. And I'm going to repeat this process and add chocolate cake on the inside again. More pineapple. And I'm going to place the remaining whipped cream right on top and just seal all that goodness in on the inside. And then I'm going to take this excess plastic that I have on the sides, and I'm gently just going to pull it right over and kind of keep the cake sealed while it sets in the refrigerator. And my Pancho Torte is ready to go into the refrigerator. You want to let it sit in there for a minimum of 4 hours or leave it in there overnight just so all those flavors can really come together for one incredible, delicious cake. I'll come back to show you how to take it out of the bowl, set it up for serving, and garnish it. All right, my cake has sat in the refrigerator for almost 4 hours now. I'm going to remove this plastic wrap from the top. And the easiest way to get this cake from the bowl onto a cake stand is to actually invert the cake stand onto the bowl like this. Make sure it's nicely aligned. And then we're going to carefully flip this over. Just like that. Next, I'm going to grab a little offset spatula. I'm going to go around the cake and just smooth down this frosting. There's going to be a few wrinkles in there from that plastic wrap, so just smooth it down so it's nice and smooth and pretty. Next, I'm going to add some chocolate garnish to the top of the cake, but before I do that, I'm just going to place little strips of parchment paper along the edge, and this is just going to help me with my cleanup process so I don't have chocolate everywhere to clean up. I have melted about a 1/3 cup of dark chocolate chips in the microwave, and then I transferred them into a pastry bag, and now I'm just going to add the chocolate garnish. So this is how the cake is traditionally garnished in Russia and in Eastern Europe. So I'm just trying to make it look as authentic as possible. We're just going to swirl it on. This looks so beautiful, doesn't it? And now for the most exciting part, let's dig into this cake and see what it looks like on the inside. I'm using a serrated knife to help cut through all the cake pieces in there and the fruit. All right, check that out. That is such a unique and beautiful cake. I can't wait to dig in and enjoy. And that's it, guys, for this unique and delicious Pancho Torte. For the full recipe, make sure you head on down into that video description box. I've left a link there that'll take you over to my website so you can print this recipe off and share it with your family and friends. And now time to dig in and enjoy. And I'm so excited to try this cake because the combination of all these fruits and the flavors in here is gonna be amazing. Get a little bit of everything. I really wanna get myself a little cherry in here as well. I love fresh cherries. All right. This cake is absolutely incredible. You guys are gonna be blown away with the flavor combination here. That fluffy whipped cream frosting combined with everything else just tastes so incredible. That chocolate sponge cake has absorbed that cherry liqueur and some of the fruit juices, so it's extra moist and everything just melts in your mouth. And then you have the tropical pineapple, the fresh cherries, the crunchy pecans, and everything combined together is simply incredible. If you're looking for a new, unique, and delicious cake recipe, this is the one to try. Now I can see why it's so popular in Russia and Eastern Europe. It's really, really good. I hope you guys give this cake a try. For the full recipe, don't forget to head on down into that video description box, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.